so much for tuning in to Conversations of the Soul. I am one of your co-hosts, Dr. Kiki Michelle.
And this is Coach Kendall Anderson, aka Coach K.
Awesome. And our other co-host, Mr. Carlyle, is out shooting movies again. So we're going to keep it moving. We want to thank you so much for tuning in. Super shout out to Boss Television Network, all of our sponsors, Intuitive Intellect, the Mr. Carlisle Collection, Quantum Talks 8.0. We are definitely making strides because of what you're doing to help us. So thank you so much. We want each of our sponsors to be known globally so that they can actually spread their wings throughout the globe. And so we appreciate this time and we just thank you. Today's topic da, 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 is Black Wall Street. Are we ready? Are
Great.
we willing for Black Wall Street? What you think, Coach?
A great topic, Dr. Kiki. Me personally, I think we are ready. I did some research on the amount of Black-owned businesses in just the United States of America. And there are more than 2 million based on the data of December 2020, more than 20 million Black-owned businesses. So I feel that if we're not ready, we need to be ready because I've heard in times passing, I haven't did my research on it, but I've heard that there, as far as the black dollar, quote unquote, when it's in our community, it lasts maybe 6 hours. Where when it's in other communities and other ethnic groups, it lasts way more than hours. It lasts days, if not months for some people. But for us, it's only 6 hours. So that speaks a lot to our mindset and how we, support each other. So I think now is the best time to begin to create another what we call Black Wall Street. How about yourself?
Excellent point. Just for some people who may not be familiar with the details of it, without going too deep, there was a area in Tulsa, Oklahoma that was thriving. I mean, it was just a black mecca of businesses, banks, anything that a human would have needed to support his or herself and their family was on that street, and it was all black owned. And then there was, from my limited research, there was an accusation of one of the business owners having raped or assaulted a white woman, and that kind of pushed Black Wall Street into history. Because what happened was, instead of waiting for the court systems to determine if that's what really had happened, they started just fighting and defending, and it was a mess. So Black Wall Street is gone. However, as Coach K was saying, that there are several black-owned businesses that we could possibly look towards another Black Wall Street. But my question is, you know, are we really ready for that? Because you'll have people who, and I'm just playing devil's advocate because I'm really, really big about customer service. So just playing devil's advocate, you have some business owners that they don't want to wait on you. They treat you like you are just, in their way. They don't want to answer the phone a certain way when you're in their establishments. It's almost like you're wasting their time. So, are we really ready as a whole to even consider something that looks like a conglomerate where it's thriving businesses that are pretty much owned by minorities?
Great question. You know, mentally, we perhaps aren't together as we should. As we already know, we don't support each other enough as we should. But the signs are there. The times that we're living in today are requiring us as a people to actually come together. Wisdom is speaking out on the streets today. I don't know how many people are listening, but now is the time to come together as a culture and as a people and start, living better, eating better, talking better, getting more educated, getting more into the sciences and STEM and technology. engineering, and start really, looking towards the younger generation to really prepare them for what's to come. Are we ready today? I think collectively, no. But individually, people like Dr. Kiki, myself, and quite a few other business owners, I think we are. I think that there's certain businesses in each city, people are coming together, but collectively, it's not enough power just yet. But I feel now is more than ever is the time to really come together and create our own. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree 100% with everything you stated. And we have to understand, well, how do we get to that? Because if
Right,
I'm on my island, you're on your island, everybody's doing their own thing.
right,
You're an adjuster, you're this. How do we work together? Well, it's connection. I can't tell you how many times I have actually gone to, which probably isn't the best way, but I've gone to Facebook trying to make a recommendation to somebody that I know who's doing certain things, and I looked up and they've unfriended me. Like,
wow,
okay, we don't have to be friends, but my thing is I'm about building and connecting, so for you to just unfriend me, I don't know what that's all about. I don't feel comfortable making a recommendation. You know what I mean? People
right,
can unfriend whoever they want to. I'm just saying we have to understand the power of connection and doing our best. See, we have to be careful how we respond to people because of how they look or what we think of them. Somebody
right,
might be in what you consider dusty clothes or, look like they just woke up, but they might be a billionaire just interacting with you just to see, your personality. They know that you can probably, have the smarts to do certain things, but they're interacting just to see if you can be trusted. And sometimes we as people have respect the persons and we missed the boat because, well, they didn't show up in a Lamborghini and didn't have, attendants opening the doors for them. We missed the boat. And so I think it's so important for us to learn how to offer courtesies and respect to customers such that, your name and the service will speak for itself. I shouldn't have to convince you that, yeah, come on over here and buy bubblegum at my shop.
right.
You should have an experience, a referral, or just the product itself. Something should sell it. So I think, I mean, my thing is we want to definitely um, work on connections and building a strong foundation.
Yeah, absolutely.
But coach, let me ask you because sometimes you the world you will
Hmm.
find that there are like cliques. How
Yes.
do we build something that our children and children and children and children for generations to come can benefit from? How do we build that without it appearing to be a clique? Are we going to have a set of requirements to even be considered for this conglomerate that we're proposing as a people, or what?
Yeah, no, that's a very, very good question, Dr. Kiki. I feel if we're going to build something, we have to have the right leadership at the top, at the helm of everything. Because I've learned that whatever you create, you're going to attract all kinds of people, the good and the bad. So the clicks you may not can get rid of, but as long as they don't have total control of what we're of the vision of what we're trying to project, then we're still going to be okay because we can always weed them out as best that we can. But you're not going to stop them because there's always going to be someone trying to scam. You see what I'm saying? That's just how it is. I'm just waking up really to the game, a few years ago, when I was hearing how when people support other businesses, obviously we as what they labeled us here as black people, we support just about everybody but our own. You see what I'm saying? So that's why if people want to come and say, well, y'all being racist, no, I think this is not being racist. It's just that we're now waking up, realizing we're supporting everybody else, but we don't support our own. So we need to support, yep, everybody else, but we need to support our own as well, especially if the dollar's only staying 6 hours in our community. That's not good at all. That's pretty bad. And that's why we are in the condition we are in economically, because it doesn't stay enough for us to build. But I do see in every city. I'm in the city of Charlotte, North Carolina. There's different black groups, even on online on Facebook, for example, uh, that are Charlotte based, and they're letting us know all the different types of businesses, that are local. And we go inside of this particular group, and you can pretty much find out whatever you want. If you want to move, you got a black movers. If you want to, buy cars and buy all these different things, you got different people that own these things that you can network with. Networking is key. So I do see people developing these, what I call networks, and then all we have to do is begin to tie them together. I think recently, Dr. Kiki, you had a conference where I think a brother was trying to connect in Atlanta. Connect was it? He was doing some networking, I think,
Yes, absolutely.
connecting people together and on this website and educating the youth and things of that nature. So to answer your question, I just think that you need not just positive people, but you need people with vision, um, as leaders, leading us to connect us and to network us all together to help minimize the different clicks that will be trying to come in to even scam or to sometimes we are our own worst per person sometimes because they will even try to dismantle, come on, what we're trying to do. I know before our time, Dr. Kiki, there's been many people before us that tried to build our community, and what they call informants, come in and they allow others to speak to their consciousness to get us to do harm to ourselves, basically. And that's just unfortunate. But I'll let that be what it's going to be, as you already know. But you can kind of speak on that as well, if you
Yes,
agree or disagree.
yeah, you're right in there.
Okay.
Okay, so we want to do certain things, but okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
If we're both selling, containers of strawberries, why am I selling mine for $40 and you're able to sell yours for $5? I can't be upset if somebody decide to go and support you. Because why? My point is, why are people like almost price gouging because you're in business?
That's
Um,
true.
I understand certain industries, the distributors will jack the prices up for certain business owners. I understand that. But just in general, some people tend to, I guess, outprice themselves just on the strength of the fact that I have a business. It's like, well, and let me just say this. I'm gonna come back to a point you made. The other side of that is people need to quit coming in and ask for discounts. Like, you have no idea what the overhead is or what it takes for stand business to operate. You don't know if they're in the red, the black. You don't know what is going on. And so either you want to service the product or you don't. Don't go in there haggling. Okay. But
Exactly.
you made an excellent point because um 9 times out of 10, once a person, an entity, a group, and this, you can research this, once they make it to a certain plateau, there's going to be always something or someone assigned to them to bring them down,
Mm.
right? They're going to find out, what your vice is, they kind of cheat a little bit on their taxes, or she like liquor or he like whatever, and they will present your vice to you, and you not even realize your vice is being presented, and it can infiltrate what you're doing and destroy it. Same thing with with people who, you know, I don't know if it's jealousy that's driving them or just the whole crab in the barrel syndrome. That if they say, you know what, we're gonna have you the leader of this whole organization, this whole conglomerate. Hey, you put everything in place, we'll follow your lead. It's going to be, I guarantee you, somebody who feels like, well, why he get to be the leader?
Yeah.
Versus just saying, okay, where do I sign up? Where I fit in? What do you need me to do? It's like there's always a struggle or a competition. Like, everybody can't lead, and we have to be okay with that and be able to support the leader,
Right.
right?
Right.
So that we can get to the greater good. Okay, so then if we go ahead and support the leader, somewhere down the road, somebody's gonna think, well, I bet, now they don't have no proof, but I bet because he the leader and everything, he's skimming off all the businesses. Like they will just present things to their minds in an effort to destroy whatever successes that there are. So what I don't know if we're really ready for um that part of it because it's hard enough running a business. It's
Right.
it's a big deal trying to market, trying to get reliable helpers and workers and qualified assistants, and it's a lot that goes into it. Making sure your products arrive on time, they ship out on time. Whatever your service is, your focus is on building that. You don't have time for somebody down the street at the chicken shack trying to run interference because I've been thinking.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
congratulations, you've been thinking, but don't bring the negativity to try to destroy what it is we're trying to do. And I don't know if we'll ever get. I mean, just like sibling rivalry, you
Yeah.
know, brothers and sisters. We love you, but how she get this, how he get that. It's
Right.
that it's something ingrained where people don't
Mm.
really they want you to do good, but not better than them. You
That's
know,
right. That's
they can
right.
be getting paid more than you, but if you getting a tiny, insy bitsy little bit of more shine than they are, they upset.
They upset. That is so, so true, Dr. Kiki. I agree with you 110% because I'm looking back before our time, and I don't think we will ever get just one leader. They always kill them off. And with that particular style that they used to kill them off, that evoked fear in all the generations leading up to today, that we cannot have one leader to lead the people or something's going to happen to that leader. And it's not so much always outside influence. There's outside influence. But what happens is the outside influence gets wind of what's going on the inside. And when there's corruption on the inside, they can pull those strings on the inside to cause us to be not together, but they're not really even causing us. They just, to me, is highlighting what's really going on within our culture, whether it's religion or whether it's politics or whether it's business. I feel as though we can't have one leader. We got to have several leaders in different places, but that's even hard. That's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a really hard challenge. And you mentioned before, is it just jealousy or is it the crabs in the barrel? In my humble opinion, I think it's all the above. It's all the above. It depends on who's watching.
Okay. Yeah, I have to agree with you. And at a point, and this is no offense to anybody,
Right.
but at a point, some people are content with being able to complain. I ain't got this. Ain't nobody hired. Oh, they wouldn't let me do this. They're content right there in that space.
Yeah.
So if we're looking like, come on, everybody, we want us to do such such. Some people will fight you on the strength of, hey, I don't want to be a part of that.
Right.
You're rallying all of us together. So now I'm going to just say this about some of the leaders, okay? And I am so thankful for every leader, our civil rights leaders, our every president, everyone who's held a position in my lifetime and before. I'm a product of those decisions, good, bad, or indifferent. So I'm
Right.
not trying to, scream out on nobody.
Right.
But, sometimes, being quote unquote the leader, some folks only show up when the cameras show up.
That's right.
Okay. So, when it's time to, roll your sleeves up and get busy, they missing. But let something happen where there has to be a prestigious voice or there's a big platform, prepared. They're there, and you're speaking for everybody.
Yep.
So that may be a problem, Coach, because if perchance people are able to, because even if we say it's not just Black Wall Street, let's just say minority Wall Street,
Right.
right? Because a lot of our dealings and our loved ones and our families we're very much connected.
Yep.
Bloodlines have already been mixed.
Yep.
So even if we had a minority um, Wall Street, I'm not sure we're ready for that either. Because somebody's gonna say, "Oh, they over there selling sneakers. Well, I'm gonna start selling sneakers too." It's going to be
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. You speaking the truth. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to laugh, but it's just the truth, you know?
that part. It's like, okay, I don't know, we ready, but I think it's important that we do like press upon people the importance of, I mean, even children. You know, I am a product of college, but
Yep.
college isn't for everybody. You know,
No.
going to work for somebody, that's great. I've had several jobs, but we should tell children that they should be able to pursue a business.
Right.
Most of these businesses, you don't have to do nothing but create the paperwork. You don't have to have all these, degrees and credentials. You could just, it's a lot that you can do and still make a good living for yourself. So, I'm not sure that we're really ready. I mean, I don't know who puts you in these groups in Facebook, but I've been um, thrown into groups, and most people are pretty much, suggesting, why don't we all work together? I mean, but okay, coach, do you think we're ready for a solid black bank? Just be honest.
As a whole, no. I mean, there are black banks out there, but do we support that right now? I think there's a black bank in Atlanta. Yes or no?
There is. And there's several of them popping up online.
Yeah.
But, and that's all well and good. But
But
if
it's
something go down, who you going to contact online?
that, and also it's still a part of the system. It's not separate from it. It's just
True.
got black owned. Okay, black owned. But you still got to follow the guidelines like everybody else. If
So
anything, we need a new system, but that's a whole nother topic there.
I love it. I love it. So, coach, let me ask you, does it matter that something is black owned? A business, a entity, a
We'll put it
private.
like this. I think it only matters if everyone is playing that game. Then I would say yes. We're by default just goodly people. Let me put that out there. Just by nature, we just like helping people, I feel, besides ourselves of times. And what I'm saying is I can go right down the street and I can go to a place called Chinatown, and they support their people. We can go in there, we will buy from them, that money goes to them. Then I go to my to the white different businesses, I support them all the time. And you got your black business. Well, they don't really want us to support them, so we don't. So my question is, why do we listen to everybody else and we look at ourselves, a reflection of ourselves in another black business, and we don't support them? That troubles me. That's why you always see me on social media always saying, know thyself, know thyself, know yourself, know yourself. Why? Because once you begin to know yourself, you can see yourself in other people. You begin to now, not just other people, but the people that look just like you. So it does matter only because the game is being played that way. If we decide not to play the game, we're still at the bottom of the economical wheel. So we still don't have no influence. So for some reason, we just been born into this game. I'm calling it a game. I really don't know what it is, but I call it a game, and it's a race game. We've already lost the race. We already know who's won the race, but they're just keeping it up. Now we cannot we can turn around and not do anything anymore, but we still have to come together at one point. Don't you agree with that? If we decide not to play the game, then what are we going to do? If we don't come together, then we still lost.
And choosing to or not to play is still playing. It's like
They almost make you play. They almost make you play, especially
right.
with the money, especially with the money thing. Think about it. Without playing that game, what are you going to do? I mean, look what they did with the Indians. The Indians didn't want to have no part of it, but they gave them a reservation. What they did was they took the land from them and then gave them a portion, what they call reservations. Now, they're not connected to the system, but they have to live and survive on their own, eating, cooking, everything. They have to survive on their own, right? I don't know if we're ready for that. We're not ready for that. We like entertainment.
We like to be waited on, right? We
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
be, hey,
That might have been too much. I'm sorry if it was too much, but
no, you're good.
okay. Hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
you're absolutely right. It's like, but I'm just gonna say this.
Yes.
I know me personally, I support where the service is good, where I feel like I'm getting, I guess, the best deal for what I'm looking for. And, but I will, support someone. I mean, if there was somebody who had a little lemonade stand near me, it doesn't matter the color of their skin. It's the fact that as a child with a lemonade stand,
Right.
I'm all about being an entrepreneur. Yeah,
Absolutely.
let me buy lemonade from you.
Yes.
Um,
I'm the same way.
but at the same time, some people make it very difficult to support what they're doing because their attitude is so bad.
Yes.
And I will just share, there was someone who needed their vehicle repaired. So she expressed herself as a more mature woman who she lives by herself. It's just her, and she took her vehicle to a black owned automobile shop.
Uh
And I
huh.
know this is not every shop, this is not every. Let me just do a disclaimer: it's not everybody in this industry, but this particular case,
Uh huh.
the business was black owned, and the gentleman he gave her a estimate of what was due, and she said, "Oh my God, well, I thought it was just such and such." Now, from all accounts, because I know more than one person who had the same experience, different day, different conversation, same experience, without even taking a breath to even try to be empathetic, the owner just started cursing this mature woman out.
Mm.
That's why I don't want to deal with you people. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, get out of my shop. I don't need your money. Like he went off.
Wow.
You don't want to deal with you people, but you look just like the people you're yelling at and you're disrespecting.
Right.
So, and I think that, of course, the lady was so hurt. She said it took her a couple of days. She just cried in a house for 3, 4 days. Like, I can't believe this
Mm.
happened to me.
Wow.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get so big that just mistreat people. You don't get so many cars or so many whatever that you feel like I don't need this money. At a point, it's not like the person has forgotten where they started from. Like when you was first getting started and nobody was bringing they vehicles to you, I'm sure you wasn't being nasty like that. But now you got 40 vehicles you still haven't gotten to yet. Now you can afford to, disrespect and make somebody leave in tears. It's
Yep.
just stuff like that. It's like it's everywhere. You
It's
know,
everywhere.
you
It's
have
everywhere.
people like that everywhere. And
It's the self hate. It's the self hate. He projected on her his own self hate, but she felt the effects of it. If that makes any sense.
it makes absolute good sense.
Mm.
Yes.
Yep. That's what
And
happened.
it's like, okay, well, yeah, she could have just jumped in her car and drove and went somewhere else. But it's the point. She said, well, I'm trying to support
Yep.
this business. I was excited when you guys moved in, and this is the result.
Right. It's a kind gesture for us to work together. But when you begin to work together, even on a small scale, it's a challenge because we have been conditioned over the years to self hate each other. That's hard. It's
That's
very hard. So yeah, it's they. I'm saying they, but it's more so the system doesn't seem to want us to come together collectively because they know once we come together, because they know the true history. We don't. So they kept it out of schools so they won't teach the general public. So if we begin to understand who we are, then I think more and more people can wake up, more and more people can see that if we can just come together, we can make a big difference in our lives and in the lives of the future generations. We don't have to stay the same. We don't have to keep abiding by the same rules, because if we abide by the same rules that they're giving us, Dr. Kiki, we will always be last. No one wants to be on a team that's always last, that's always losing, that could never win. It just appears that we're getting a by because you have a lot of stars in Hollywood now that are black. But I'm learning it's still a mindset. It's still a mindset because you can be black but still playing the same racist game. You see, you have what, over 50% of the NBA basketball, for example, that are black. How many of them are black owned businesses? How many of them own an NBA team? It's a very small amount again. Very small amount. It's not to say none, but we think that, okay, there's one, we finally made it. It's like a president. We finally got one president that was black, President Barack Obama. But if you look further back in history, we had black presidents. He's
Right.
not the first. He's
Absolutely.
just the first that you have seen. It goes on and on. I mean, got BET, then they sold off BET. We think that we own, Black Lives Matter, but again, Dr. Kiki, not getting deep, but you look further into it, we don't. You think we own the NCAA, not the NCAA, what is that?
NAACP.
NAACP. Yes, thank you. I'm thinking about basketball still, but yeah, that group, and that group still, we don't own that one either. That wasn't started necessarily by us, but we are the face of it. So everything is in place to keep us in place. And anyone that has great vision, like a Martin Luther King and um, I liked it, Malcolm X. Those guys had incredible vision, incredible influence to bring people together. You see what happened. So it's
Yeah.
going to take a collective now. I don't think it's going to take one person. It's going to take a collective of people that has the same mindset to help liberate us, and we have to start with ourselves.
And I like everything you said. Now I want to just present a question. What do you
Uh-huh.
say to a person who, because of how they viewed how everything has been, like in their viewpoint and from their vantage point, they don't trust people that look like them.
Right.
So you guys can come together and do whatever you want to do. If I have to drive 70 miles out of the way to avoid supporting your conglomerate, what do you say to those who are not going to support because of how they've been mistreated and ostracized?
I don't think there's nothing you can do in the beginning. I feel if though once it gets some footing, once it gets some foundation, once they some people don't come into the end result. Some people aren't there to build. Some people are only there once the fruits have been bared. I think once the fruits have been bared and it's been proven, some of those people may migrate back or they may choose to stay where they are. But in the beginning, to me, it's nothing you can do. You have to let them. You have to let them be. Those are my thoughts. How about yours?
I think that at a time there's there I agree. There's nothing you can do. But
Mm,
I do believe that if there's olive branches that are established and we partner and we message, we send flyers, just marketing and letting them know the positive stuff. See, and that's just it. I think that sometimes our community get a bad rap because of the actions of a handful. All the good that goes on, that's that water cooler conversation. But anything that's bad, it's all over national news. So it kind of gets the thought process in sync with, wow, if you want to move on through your life drama free, avoid those types of businesses and those types of people, and even people who look like black people, brown people, and minorities feel the same way. So I really I think that people understand how they feel. We can't suggest you not feel that way. Hey, this is how I feel. This is
right.
but I think if we just get things together and move it forward, um, without playing into all the stereotypes, maybe we could draw them. And some people you'll never draw because guess what? their pain is real. It's something that is a place of experience for them, and they will never forget it. They'll
Yep.
never position themselves to even be treated that way or experience that level of pain again.
That is so true. And it's easily we can easily go there. I have so many stories, but I had to keep going, and I just decided not to support that particular company again. But I didn't stop supporting other black companies, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
I didn't allow it to affect me to the point where I put us all under the bus. It's just so easy to put everybody in one bucket, so to speak. So going back to what you said earlier, let me ask the question of this: why is it where when you said it just takes a small group of people to spoil it for the majority? Why is it then like one apple um, can spoil the whole batch of apples? Why is it like that? Why is it the small can affect the whole? Do you know why?
I think that we are sometimes, unfortunately, it's guilt by association. People might not know you or know of you, but wow, they're hanging with, wow, that's that person that ripped me off 2 years ago. So anything attached to them has the stigma of that one person. And so I feel like that's why we have to be so careful of who we connect with. It might be a quote unquote glorious opportunity, but you got to do your research. You got to look, you got to pray, you got to, pause and think and look how this decision is going to impact everything I'm doing. Um, and I've done it myself. I mean, and not to make anyone feel bad, but if there are people who that when I've dealt with them, I dealt from a place of just total transparency and hey, let's work together. And come to find out, they weren't who they say they were, or things didn't add up to how they said they would add up, which nobody's perfect. But if I'm developing and noticing a pattern of this said behavior, then to protect myself and to keep what I'm doing clear, I'm going to distance my dealings because nobody has time for that kind of publicity or drama. And you know for sure that if somebody, I mean, just like if one person is driving and somebody gets in the vehicle and they just left the store, and that one person gets in the vehicle and they stole something, by the time the police show up and pull everybody over, everybody's, you know although we're supposed to be proven guilty, but it's assumed that everybody was in there stealing,
Right.
or you knew about it, or you didn't know he was in here doing it. Oh, So I think it's just normal. And then we as humans, we always are going to have this thing called fight or flight. We are going to deal with stuff. You're going to deal with it, or you're going to say, I'm not dealing with it. And I think if anyone's been through anything, they're picking their battles. And it's like, well, I may not have time for that right now. And it's not that they don't have time. They don't have time for the drama or the unknowns or the scams. And
Right.
what you think?
I agree. It sounds like it's like you're almost guilty by association, and that's tough.
It
And I
is.
know it's easier to compartmentalize things that way, but that's how, like you said, that's how we think as humans at times. So just being black sometimes can cost you. You didn't do anything wrong, but just because of the color, and that is so. What's the word I want to use? So
Okay.
small to me. That's just
Mhm.
doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Being judged by the color of your skin. What does that have to do with me? I thought it was always character,
But
integrity, and there's
it
good
is,
and bad in all races to me. Am I right?
you're right. But you have character, you have integrity. But just, I mean, in meeting someone or browsing past someone, you have to interact with them to find out what kind of character they have. You have to, uh, if they're holding the door for people or picking up stuff someone else knocked off the shelf, if you're in a store, you're going to judge their character by what you just experienced and what they just did in their actions.
Right.
Or if somebody is, hey, how's it going? Good morning or good evening every time you see him, you're going to assume that, wow, that's a very friendly person. Wow, she's nice. Oh, he's nice.
Right.
But outside of any connection or interaction or just association at all, you don't have any idea. I mean, and we all judge. People who say, "Oh no, I don't judge," I have to, I look at them sideways, like, okay, because good and well, if you're walking down the street and you see somebody who might quote unquote look like they might bug you, you're gonna judge them as a mugger. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
or if they're suited up and have their family with them, you're gonna probably not be as on edge and on guard for that interaction with you passing them, and you guys may speak or not, but you're not going to be feel like, oh my god, this person might come back and hurt me. But if they're dressed weird and looking crazy and stuff and talking to themselves, you're probably going to be checking back over your back a couple times, just say, make sure they've gone about their business. We all judge,
Right.
but I don't think it's fair. But tell me, certain establishments I've gone into, and I mean, who cares? I don't care if people really think of me, but I don't think I'm in there looking like I'm in there to just rob and steal and take something. And then you have people who sit up and just watch you like a hawk and
Yeah.
follow you from aisle to aisle. Like,
Yeah. That's pretty bad. Yep. I had
that
that.
is the worst.
That's the worst. Been there. Been there. Done that. You try to be super nice. You know.
Like, why do I have to have an extra conversation with you that I'm not here to steal?
Right.
You
Make
know,
Try to make them comfortable, but
yeah.
yet they're making you uncomfortable.
That's a whole nother
Whole
conversation.
nother conversation.
Yes, because it's like now I got to go through and hey, how's it going? Hey, small talk. But maybe I came over here to browse because I needed just some space to unwind and think. Really didn't come over here to talk. You know.
Right. Right.
I remember I was leaving a retail store years ago, and I had my bag and I had my receipt. And this lady went out of her way on the way out the door. That was her job to check.
Uh-huh.
But she went out of her way to go through every single item in the bag. She's looking over the receipt 3, 4 times, looking me up and down, checking the buggy. And it was almost like she was determined to find just maybe even a piece of gum on that in that bag that wasn't on that receipt.
Wow.
And it was a little much.
Yeah.
And I finally told her, ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't have to steal. Well, we have to check anyway, is what she stated. And I thought, oh, well, they don't have to worry about me coming over here because anymore,
Yep.
because the real crooks are leaving out the back door and they work here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That was my response. But I'm just thinking to myself, the real crooks you should be watching, you let them walk right out. You
Exactly.
hold the door for them. But people who are not even, my mind wasn't even on that. I'm just trying to make sure I get everything on my list. I can get to my next destination. And I'm being accosted because, oh, let me just verify that every single thing on this receipt is in this bag.
Yep.
So it's just, I don't know. But
Yeah.
it's stuff like that to support what you stated. It
Uh-huh.
can be any culture, creed, religion. It's just not, you know, one group doing this. I think there are bad seeds in every group,
Yes.
but it's almost like our best friend, the media, does a number of, and I think we do it to ourselves as well.
Yes. Combination.
Yeah, several things online that really that's nobody's business. Like, who cares? We do it to ourselves.
Absolutely. Man, this is good. I mean, we can go on and on. And the solution is within ourselves. We have the answer. The problem and the solution is right there. Are we willing to look? Are we willing to go within ourselves? We have religion. Are we listening? If you are a Christian, listening in, have you followed the teachings of Jesus? He said the kingdom of heaven is within you. Love thy neighbor as thyself. You know, treat others as you want to be treated. All of these things are in every religion. Are we listening? I think Apostle Paul mentioned Christ is within you. Jesus said, "Don't worship me. Worship me in spirit and in truth." All of these things is right there in the Bible, but we just sometimes get caught up in entertainment and wanting Jesus to take over, and all that's fine if that's what we're going to do. But at the end of the day, there has been a plan set against us. Do we have a plan to get out of it? That's going to be the key. And the answers are all through. It's within us. We have to listen. We have to go within ourselves. The kingdom of heaven is within us. There's so much creativity. There's so much more we can do. We don't have to minimize ourselves, but we have to look within ourselves and not necessarily. I say this: we don't have to listen to what they say we are anymore. Who does God say we are? Who do you say that you are? You and I, we should define ourselves and stop allowing the media to define us as just black. Is black even a color? Is black even a race? These are the questions that we start asking ourselves. If these things aren't us, why are we labeling ourselves these names? Things like that. You have to continue to, evolve. We must evolve. That's what I feel. Your thoughts?
Awesome. I say that is a great recap to
Yes.
conversation episode today, because you can't talk about a Black Wall Street or minority Wall Street without dissecting the different parts of what that means.
Yeah.
And we have to come together. We have to really truly know who we are, but then we have to set boundaries and be willing to enforce those boundaries.
Right.
Because, as we mentioned earlier in the program, certain people, they will get to a level of leadership and then something will happen. Well, most times it's somebody that looks just like them that orchestrates the takedown, or is the informant, or is the trigger man or something. So,
Hmm.
we've got to be careful of our circles, whether you're for or against, all businesses coming together to work together or not. You got to watch your circle. You got to watch your thoughts. And as a person who, I take my relationship with our creator very, very seriously.
Right.
Even with that, you can't be so, heavenly oriented that you don't watch as well as pray, that you don't, consider your environment. Like they've always said, your gut tell you something is wrong,
Right.
something's wrong. You don't need, handwriting on the wall on everything. We're all spiritual creatures. So if you're getting certain vibes, look into it,
Hmm.
Um, so I think that this conversation definitely deserves a part two. And not necessarily just the whole, Wall Street portion, but just delving into those real pockets of who we are. What do we
Hmm.
define as? I
Right.
have people who will not let you call them African American. They're born and raised in the United States and like, I don't know anything about Africa. So when you reach out to them and say, how do you like to be, referenced, they just say, I'm an American. You know, if you're black and you're African American, or you're black or you're brown, or no. I'm just American. So I think, it's really the identity piece is huge, because if we know who we are, we can never be taken off of our position, no matter what happens, no matter what comes, no matter what goes. You know who you are, and you know whose you are.
Absolutely. For us, we have to remember who we are. We didn't start off as slaves. That's for sure. Go further back in history, and you will recognize how great we are and how great we were. We just got to get back and to remember who we are. It's a mindset.
Amen. Well, coach, let them know how they can reach you.
Yes. If you're looking if you're stuck, if you want to know more about, understanding more of yourself, and you're just stuck and you just want to, have someone to support you, I am a professional life coach, and I can be reached by email first and foremost at which stands for at intuitiveintellect.co. I'm gonna spell that out. That's at INTUITIVE. Intellect is spelled INTELLECT .co. Email me there. I'm giving out free 30-minute consultations. So just email me your name, your number, and the reason why you're wanting to have the free consultation, and I'll get back to you. You can also reach me at area code 980-272-8287. Again, that's 980-272-8287. And you can also follow me or find me on social media. Facebook is my name is Kendall Anderson. You can also find me on Instagram as Coach Ka or Coach KA underscore 569, or Twitter as my name as well.
Awesome. So, in his absence, Mr. Carlyle, international designer, stylist, model coach, he definitely is making his way in the movie industry, and he's also still producing shows. So, put the date on your calendar, May the 15th, Atlanta, Georgia. It will go down at the Doubletree Hotel near the Atlanta airport. Feel free to reach out to him. He's on social media. Facebook is Carlyle E. Williams, and Instagram is at I am Mr. Carlyle. His phone number is 470-418-7277. I am Dr. Kiki Michelle. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. I do wear several hats. Please give me a call. I am willing and waiting to help you get to the next level. My website is www.iamkikimichelle.com. Super shout out to Kiki Precious Jewels and to Kiki Michelle Wellness. We are doing some things to help empower our community. So if you need to call, feel free to at 404-477-7195. And of course, information regarding all of our sponsors is on the end of this broadcast. Thank you so much for listening in to Conversations of the Soul. Please be blessed. Stay safe.
Peace.